Hey everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina and welcome back to another Stampin' on Friday episode. Today we're going to be making a card using this exclusive stamp and die set from Simon Says Stamp. I believe these were designed by Christina Warner, and you can purchase the stamps and the dies separately, or they also have a kit where you can buy, together the pieces. So this one right here, this is the die. It says absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by cutting that out. And I'm going to be using my Big Shot for that. So let me just bring that in here. And I'm going to be using all of my plates. I have my main plate here with all the tabs down. I have one of my clear plates. And then I also have a piece of white cardstock and my die that says absolutely. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this on my piece of cardstock. And this cardstock measures 3 and a little bit more than 3 3/4 inches wide. I'm just going to go ahead and just use a little piece of tape to adhere that down. Usually I use washi tape because it peels off much easier, but I don't have it right here on my work area. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out. Okay, so what it does is it leaves it attached right on the end, so I'm just going to take my scissors and just trim the ends off so that we have a nice little border that says absolutely. Isn't that neat? Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and start doing now is putting some of my layers together. I have a piece of pattern paper which comes from October Afternoon's Midway collection. Super cute collection. And I cut this at 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then I have another piece of pattern paper. It's actually the back side of this, which is cut at 3 3/4, just a little bit more than 3 3/4 and 2 inches. And what I'm going to do is take my absolutely and layer that right onto this piece. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to the back. And then I'll adhere this to my pattern paper, which will go right here. But before I set this down, I want to add one more layer. Almost forgot about it. I'm going to be adding this little piece of doily. It actually is one of these little doilies that you can get from the baking section at your local craft store. What I did with mine is I cut it in half and I sprayed some Mr. Huey's, the Orchard color, and that's going to get adhered right to here underneath my pattern piece, or underneath my absolutely. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some adhesive right to the back of this piece. And then this will get adhered to my base. And then I'll take my scissors and just trim off the extra pieces. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little piece of cardstock or pattern paper that came from the paper set. It was this striped, but I just used a piece of the blue color, and this is cut at 1.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and use some Versamark. And for my stamp set, I'm going to be using Wishing You a Happy Day, which I already have mounted onto my stamp block. And this I'll stamp right towards the edge or the end of my pattern paper. And then I'm going to use some white embossing powder. Okay, so I have that embossed. I'm actually going to go ahead and put this going right over the edge of my chevron piece here. And now I'm going to add some baker's twine to that. So I just have a piece of this orange twine that's from the Twinery. I'm going to wrap that around a couple of times. We'll go around 3 times. And then I'm just going to tie a bow on this end. Now I'm going to take this piece and adhere this to a piece of paper tray ink cardstock, and then we'll adhere that to our card base. Our card base is going to be a 4 1/4 inch by 5 1/2 inch card. So I took a piece of white paper tray ink cardstock, cut it down to 4 1/4 by 11, and now I'm just going to go ahead and score it at 5 1/2. Then I will go ahead and adhere my card front to my card base. And that's our card for today. All the supplies I used for today's card will be available on my blog if you want to check it out. And thanks for watching another episode. See you next time.